Well, some residents in the Akron area are feeling ripped off after putting up big money to improve their homes and receiving nothing in return.
Don Olson of our Akron Bureau has been investigating and joins us live in the newsroom with details. Don.
Well, this type of predicament can be financially devastating for people who shell out their hard-earned savings with big plans to improve their home, and all they end up with is a big headache. Unfortunately, that's been the case for many homeowners in the Akron area.
You know he's a crook, and you know this is going to happen.
You know, I've read about it and everything, and I never thought it'd happen to me.
Obviously, he's taking the money and he's running with it.
New roofing on the garage.
Eleanor and George McFadden had big plans to improve their Springfield Township home. They entered into a $10,000 contract and shelled out a hefty down payment. And what did they receive for their hard-earned money? Nothing. How much did you put down? How much?
$2,500 cash.
And what did you get for it?
Nothing but a piece of paper. That's all we've got.
The McFaddens entered into the contract with a man by the name of Norman Long, president of a company called Energy Specialist Incorporated.
$2,500 down for siding and windows. Workers not a comp, but $700 down for siding. The company did not respond to telephone calls.
A check with Vic Volazin of the Akron Better Business Bureau showed the McFaddens aren't the only ones left holding the bag by Mr. Long. The BBB has at least 17 complaints and inquiries about Long and Energy Specialists. Darlene Steedman of Hudson also paid Norman Long to perform work on her home.
What were you going to have Norman Long do for you?
Put these two windows in for $700.
And what did you get for it?
Nothing. A lot of headaches.
Several attempts by the BBB and the McFaddens to contact Long failed, so we went looking for him at the Cuyahoga Falls address listed on his business card. I'm Don from Channel 8.
Nice to meet you.
I'm just trying to get Norman Long. Do you know how we can get in touch with this guy?
I wish I knew.
Instead of Long, we found an amused Mary Lou Thornton of Associated Answering Service. She, too, would like to find Long because he owes her
$1,215.06.
Thornton described Long as a fast-talking crook.
He could owe you $500, come in here and sit down and talk to you in that chair, and walk out with another $500 in his pocket.
It may be that kind of business practice that got Long into trouble with the law last year. The Summit County grand jury indicted him on 8 counts of passing bad checks and 3 counts of grand theft by deception. In a plea agreement, Long was placed on 3 years probation and ordered to repay nearly $30,000. But apparently Long didn't learn his lesson. Only 5 days after taking $2,500 from the McFaddens in January, he was sentenced to a 2.5 to 10-year prison term in Michigan on an embezzlement conviction. For as many people as we found, police tell us that could be just the tip of the iceberg. Will they ever get their money back? Tomorrow, we'll try to answer that question. Robin?
Thank you, Don. Testimony is expected to begin tomorrow in the trial of 2 men charged with the murder of an elderly widow and duping her out of her will. In an exclusive I-Team interview, Carl Monday talked with one of the prosecution's star witnesses, the woman who first tipped off police to the alleged crime.
Richard Eberling and Obie Henderson are on trial for murder today, in large part because of this woman, 43-year-old former Clevelander Patricia Bogar.
How would you describe these two guys?
Very cunning. Very cunning. They lived their life off of people and made it a full-time job, just like you get up in the morning at 8:30 or 9 o'clock and go to work.
Prosecutors say Eberling and Henderson killed 92-year-old Ethel Mae Durkin, but not before making a killing off her $1 million-plus estate, using a phony will.
Mr. Eberling, as a, quote, friend, unquote, asked me to sign a blank piece of paper.
Was Mrs. Durkin's name on that paper at the time?
Yes, it was.
Did you know what you were signing?
Did I know I was signing?
Did you know that you were signing a will that would later...
I knew that at the time, yes, I knew that I was signing a piece of paper that would eventually be a will.
Bogar says Eberling promised her $50,000 for her signature. When he didn't pay up, she threatened to go to Phil Donahue and Lakewood police.
Bogar never did call Donahue, but she did call the cops. Her phone call and subsequent police investigation resulted in charges of forgery and theft, and eventually murder against Eberling and Henderson.
They loved her because she had money. And and they were after it.
But in an interview earlier this week, Henderson told the I-Team his and Eberling's intentions were honorable.
No one could love a woman as much and do for somebody as much as Mr. Eberling did, that he would ever have any intention of doing any bodily harm to this woman whatsoever.
They had her totally hoodwinked. They had her really believing that they really cared about her, but I knew that that wasn't true.
We should have a better idea who's telling the truth beginning tomorrow morning when the trial begins in earnest. The first order of business, the jury will visit the crime scene here at the former Durkin estate in Lakewood, followed by opening arguments and 2 days of testimony from one of the prosecution's star witnesses, Patricia Bogart. Carl Monday, News Center 8 I-Team.
And still ahead on News Center 8, Cedar Point's new $8 million Thrill-A-Second roller coaster is having more problems.
We'll show you why it's come to an abrupt stop when Tim and I return.